My name is John Paul Joseph Santanato from Toronto, Canada, and I'm a operator with technical proficiencies. I like to consider myself more as a more universal soldier, and I've been in the military with Ukraine for almost a year now. I'm a multiple business owner from Toronto with technical proficiencies in computers, 3D printing, graphic design, business management, ethics, and I'm certified in human rights by a Washington, D.C. based organization, the USIDHR, Office for Human Rights Advocacy. My foundation nonprofit, PFI Ukraine, is a rebranding of a Canadian organization, Pollute Free Initiative, registered in Ontario since 2017. My first business, Geek Media Solutions, from 1997. Computers, 3D printing, networking, graphic design, carpentry. I have maybe 25 years of carpentry work experience in high-rise concrete forms, scaffolding, welding, roofs, framing, and pretty much general carpentry. And so it's labor intensive sometimes, and as well as graphics and architectural drawings. And I've had some cultural connections with Ukrainians in Canada for years now. It was long before the active phase, in fact. I realized now that I've been advocating for Ukraine and human sovereignty, particularly for Europeans, for a long time now. And I knew that this war would happen before many people, in fact. I even predicted the use of drones many years ago, even before 2014. We had a discussion at home with some other Ukrainians about the future of Ukraine, actually, and the topic of Ukrainian sovereignty was discussed. And in the background, we were watching that movie with Zelensky, where he becomes president. And that moment was early, where I realized that Ukraine is a great nation. Well, I've been in the military in Ukraine for almost a year. I've actually provided a more logistical role to support the military before that, also as a humanitarian. So I came in 2023, so I've been here for over a year now, almost two, and did humanitarian work. I've been operating PFI Ukraine does humanitarian work. We provided supplies to, and I've committed to every year before winter, provide supplies to Kherson residents in the most affected villages disaffected by the Novkakhovka Dam, Bilizerka and Darivka. So last year we provided them a lot of power banks and winterization supplies, and we'll be doing the same this year. But we've also provided humanitarian work in connecting with other organizations here in Kharkiv and Kyiv, in Odessa. I heard good things about the 92nd Brigade, and that it has a good reputation and good people and good commanders. 1st Assault Battalion, heroes in many ways. At this exact moment, I'm trying to complete residency documentation and registration of my NGO in Ukraine. So there's some business aspects that are involving my time, and I try to schedule this for off-duty hours. Of course, I prioritize work for the SAU, but when I have free time, I try to develop my business and actually some electronics projects that I think are really helpful, such as there's a laser interdiction system that I'm developing that's really novel, I think. And if we deploy interesting technologies all aboard the front line, on all front lines simultaneously, it could have a tide changing effect on the war, I think. But there's also been challenges in developing this because I'm just a small organization, and the military work takes up quite a bit of my time, of course, and that's what I want to do. I'm happy to contribute my energy and my resources to the territorial defense of Ukraine and sovereignty for Ukrainians. I feel like I'm an instrument of freedom and sovereignty in this part of the world, and I'm proud to fulfill that role. I'd like to have more combat experience, actually, but in the few deployments that I have had, there hasn't been any instance for me to, and other commanders have told me that there isn't any actual visible direct contact with the enemy. It's a lot of drone proliferation, and I think that's a good thing because we need to put lives less at risk and focus on technology, and that wins wars. I think that it's been helpful that drones have kept artillery out of range of civilian areas, and for some reason they don't target as much as they target civilians sometimes. But we have to continue what we're doing and emphasize what works. I think that lasers are going to become more prolific. They're going to be mounted on drones. We won't see as much radio frequency because of the jamming and interdiction in that field. I think that fiber optic drones are going to become very, very prolific in the very near future, and they are now already. And that's part of the field that I'm helping to contribute towards our battalion, in fact. I helped network a U.S. nonprofit organization technology group with our engineering group just recently, and provided us with important information on respooling efforts, bringing our respooling speed down from 27 hours, as I understand, to a handful of hours, like 5 or 6, I think. Well, if you're referring to fighting for Ukraine, yes, I have tried to advocate for that already in my communications with people I know in Canada, not just Ukrainians. There is some pushback sometimes, and online there's definitely a lot of pushback in general with Ukraine sometimes. I think we need to focus on fighting that malignant narration very, very much. There's been some talk of peacekeepers coming here at a national level from several countries, and I think that's great. But I really respect everyone that comes here, not just the ones that serve in the military, but everybody that contributes in Ukraine from abroad. Is really great to see. It's good to see people with the right sense of ethics and the conscience and the awareness to know when to stand up. So I think that Canada will continue to be a strong contributor in that, not just because we have a strong Ukrainian diaspora, but because we have the ethics, and the United States, whenever they have this fair weather friend sort of behavior. I love the food is one thing, the benevolent culture of sustainability and ethics that is Ukraine that I know is what always draws me here. It's because I'm more leaning towards buryak than kartoshki, because they're more dense and more nutritious and more filling. I like food that's made with beets, and that's been very prolific here. So I would say borscht, but I like okroshka better sometimes. I don't know. In 1st Assault Battalion, I have got to meet some very valiant heroes of Ukraine, and I've been proud to contribute my time and my energy with these great people. So I like the wellness. The wellness of the group is astounding. I think that the 1st Assault Battalion is very motivated, very determined, and very capable of defeating the enemy. And of course we can always enhance that. I'd like to see more technology and innovation here. Well, the America aspect, there's a lot to say about. Probably not enough time to say in this video about what I think about the situation with America, because I thought it was bound to happen one day. So much that I actually thought as a youth, when I was really interested in American logistics and technology, fighter jets, tanks, I was always interested in that. So I think that the Abrams was maybe designed to work in cold climates, like in Canada, for example. So that's something I always thought the U.S. would be one day would be a hostile state towards other countries, Canada, for example. And I think that Europeans and Canadians will continue to stand with Ukraine, no matter what the United States does. If they're no longer the leader in sovereignty, very overtly than before, I think that Canada will continue to be a leader in that, as well as Europeans, because we've developed these values. We've developed these values over other cultures, over other civilizations. Europeans and Canadians are very similar in these ideals, and currently America, I like to call it, is more isolationist, and they're acting like gangsters, and civilization doesn't work like that. Oh, I'm happy. First of all, I'd be happy just to be here with you. That's what we're working. That's what I'm working up to. We're all waiting for that moment, and when it happens, I want to share in the joy with Ukrainians as brothers and sisters of Europe. And I think that you should have been welcomed to communities like the European Union and NATO a long time ago. And I'm as behind in this as I am. I'm also still trying to help us connect better. Slava Ukraini!